Welcome, welcome, boys. Okay, in this video, we're going to be reviewing a what's in the box and doing a little comparison and seeing if we can answer some questions that may or may not be out there in the name of science. So the first question on everybody's mind is, what's in the box? Well, you probably can guess, but I'm going to show you anyway. Kitty wonders what's in the box. I can tell by looking at her. See, look at her. Now she's all curious. She's like, what's in that box? Show me and tell me what's in the box. Well, under this big old piece of foam is what we call a braced AR pistol. Oh yes, here she is. So this dude is made by Radical Firearms. Braced AR pistol. And what makes an AR pistol a pistol, you ask? Well, other than it's obviously got a much shorter barrel than a rifle, this is rocking a 7.5-inch one. And an adjustable hand brace. Comes with a 1 magazine, a standard capacity magazine, I believe. Haven't loaded it up yet, but I think I'll do that in anticipation of any funny business that may or may not be going on in the very near future in the city. So the first thing we want to compare it to is the M&P 1522, which is also a pistol that is chambered in 22. As we can see, they are roughly the same size, with maybe my barrel being a scotch longer, maybe a 1/2 inch, which I believe, since mine's a 7.5, then this guy would be a 7, as logic would dictate. So 7.5-inch barrel is chambered in 223 or 5.56. Comes with a safety, an ambidextrous safety, which I gotta tell you I'm not gonna like, so I'm going to attempt to remove this side. And then unfortunately it's gonna be poking out, so I'm gonna have to just get an actual mil-spec safety in here. But for now, we at the very least can just get rid of this ambi part, because here's the problem. So here's how I hold. I always have my finger in the trigger area before I flip the safety off. What's happening right there, you ask? It is bumping into my index finger. So I would have to have my finger out of the trigger guard completely, then flip it, then go over here, and then it would still be touching my knuckle while I'm firing. I imagine that's going to be, at the minimum, a slight inconvenience, or quite painful, I'm afraid. Either of those things are ideal for me. But like our MP 1522, it does have a spot here for your sling. And then we can find a spot to mount it up here with my 2-point sling. Or if I think I might want to swap the 1-point sling off of my Bushmaster, I can put it on here and then take the 2-point sling that's for this and put it on the Bushmaster. But we'll burn that bridge when we get there. So we're going to answer the Q&A part of this now. The questions that on everyone's mind. How does this lower and this upper compare with an AR rifle? Well, I happen to have an example of one right here. This is the Bushmaster, a full-size rifle, adjustable stock, 16 or so inch barrel. And I guess we'll start off first by just opening it up. Alright, so with the upper and lower receiver disconnected, this is the Bushmaster's, and let's see how it compares with this. Okay. So, both hammers are back. So as we take a peek-see inside, we can see they're about the same. Safety's obviously different. They do both have their buffer tube and their spring and everything. Trying to see if they feel any different. Is one any more firm or loose than the other? Feel about the same. Of course, one's in my right hand, one's in my left. If I had to say, no, it's whichever one's in my left hand, I think actually does feel stiffer. So it's probably just because of my weaker hand. Yeah, I would say, because I haven't fired this pistol yet, it may feel a bit stiffer, but I think after I fire it and the spring moves a bunch, that might work itself out and they might end up being the same. So since that's about the same then, let's check the upper receivers. How are those different or the same? How do we compare or contrast them? Well, other than the obvious barrel length, let's pull the bolt carrier groups out. That's the bolt carrier group and the charge handle from the Bushmaster. And that's the one from the pistol. First glance, they're similar. Charging handles, pretty similar. There's an extra little groove on the top here on the Bushmaster. I don't really see anything else. And the bolt carrier group, this one has a couple little notches here. One of my Bushmaster does not. These screws are both kind of pinned in place a little. Pins are the same. So the only difference I really see now is on the underside. You can see this channel's bigger on the rifle than it is on the pistol. But they, this one goes back, it's a hole. Also a hole. Got that groove in the bottom there. So that seems to be about the only difference. This cutout. I don't know if that's significant or not. But if you were wondering, that appears to be the difference. I haven't disassembled the bolt, but I can do that later off camera, I guess. I don't see why they would be any different. The extractor looks pretty similar. Yeah, it looks the same. So I would assume then these would be interchangeable. The only way to know would be, of course, to fire it or try to swap it in right quick. Mate it back to the lower and then cycle it. But as for the upper, my primary arms does have a forward assist dust cover, just like the Bushmaster. Forward assist dust cover. So, the question again on everyone's mind, what if, could you take the braced pistol lower receiver and put it on the Bushmaster? I don't know, boys. Let's find out. Let's answer that question everyone's asking themselves. In the name of science. Well, looks like she fits. This is the pistol lower on the Bushmaster's upper. Appears to cycle. So let's answer a couple questions at once then. What if we took the magazine from the Bushmaster, this 42 round Pro Mag, does fit, so could you cycle rounds through it? It's one round loaded. It does eject them. Alright, of course keep your finger off the trigger while you're doing that. You may be saying, oh my god, he's cycling live ammunition inside his house. My finger's off the trigger, boys. And the safety was on. So, okay. Well, then that's going to answer the next question on everybody's mind that we, of course, are not going to do, which would be, could you do the exact opposite of what we just did? Take the rifle's lower receiver and put it on the upper receiver from our pistol. I don't see any reason why not. So now that we know the magazines are interchangeable, the only other question that needs answered is about the 22 conversion kit. So back in the Obama era, when ammunition was $1 a shell because they were threatening to ban all the rifles after some Connecticut incident or something, I think, I got an AR conversion 5.56 223 to 22 long rifle. And so how this works, for those who may or may not know about it, this is the Bushmaster again. So if you take bolt carrier group out of here, you put this one in, you can now fire 22 long rifles out of your gun. Charging handle fell down. There we go. Okay. So now when you put the lower receiver on, back on the Bushmaster here, you can fire 22s out of it. So, taking a 22 mag, loading it into the Bushmaster, this now cycles 22 ammunition. That's what it would look like in here. So as we cycle it, I think the only thing it doesn't do is hold the bolt back when it's out of ammunition. So your 5.56 and 223 will do that. The 22 conversion kit will not. So you have to count your rounds, or you'll hear a click when you're completely out. So that's how that works. And I did that on the Bushmaster because we're all wondering, can you do it? Can you use the 22 conversion kit on your AR pistol? Alright, so our reassembled lower with the Pro Mag, but now this is the complete pistol. We didn't actually try this earlier, but I'm sure that my Pro Mag would work. Although, I guess it would help if I put the bolt carrier group back in, huh? Since that is currently not in the gun. if the Pro Mag works, then we know that all my other Bushmaster mags will also work. Okay, so round loaded. And it does cycle. Okay, and with that said, does the bolt stay back on an empty? This is the one that came with the mag, or the pistol. Yes. Bolt locked back. Alright, so now the only question of the day to answer is, does the 22 conversion kit fit in here? Assuming so, but in the name of science, we have to actually know the answer. We have to try it. Okay, and there it is, boys. 22 conversion kits installed. This is the 22 magazine, our M&P 1522. Does lock in place. And it does not lock back on an empty. That's okay, we didn't expect it to, since it doesn't have the Bushmaster, and I believe of all the 22 mags I have, because this isn't the only one. This is the one from Katie's gun, but I bought a bunch of them back in the day, just in case war were declared, and I ran out of 223 and 5.56. My Bushmaster AR would still be functional, because I have thousands of rounds of 22, and with the 22 conversion kit, you can keep on fighting. No need to switch guns. So, alright. I guess that about covers it. Paid $704 for this thing, and it was before, it was after the run-on gun, so it was after Corona Chan happened, it was after all the riots, largely peaceful protests, and after the Capitol incident, but it was before the Sleepy Joe Stimmy money that came out, and therefore also before the latest shooting that involved an AR pistol. Because your boy here had the foresight to say, oh snap, now that Sleepy Joe's in charge, the next time somebody blows somebody away with an AR pistol, they're going to try to ban them. So I preemptively ordered it, and boom! Not that week, before the stimmies even arrived, some dude's out there blowing people away with an AR pistol. They're like, we gotta ban them. And I'm like, haha, already ordered mine, so suck it. Suck it. Just keep that between you and me, though, boys. Don't tell Sleepy Joe. He's gonna be very upset if he finds out about this. So, 704 at that time. Who knows what they are now? Probably can't even get them anymore. Who the hell knows? But look forward to a future video where we actually sight this thing in, because as you can see, there's no optic on it, but I did buy one. So we're going to see how well this works. And then, so we'll try this one on mine, try that Crimson Trace on Katie's, and then that'll be how our AR pistols go. And like I said, look forward to sighting them in. Of course, I'm not going to use my 223 or 5.56 ammo to sight this in. We're going to be using the 22 conversion kit to sight it in. So look forward to that in the future, and I think that about closes this video out. I don't think there's any more questions that you guys had in the back of your minds that you didn't even know you wanted to ask that I didn't answer. So we'll end it with that. Thanks for watching, boys. Peace.